To grow up here is very evil, I would say, because there are a lot of stuff you see. If you start being a gangster, you won't get out. Yeah, you can't guarantee if you're gonna live tomorrow because you're dead already.
Welcome to another episode of the Tuan Pod. This is Cohen Charles, and I have my Tuan brother Cameron Charles. The gentleman to my right hand side is making us feel bad. He's neatly dressed, was like he's where is it makadrop? But that's besides the point. I have Mr. Ashley Williams here, a school friend and now an inspiration to many. You know what I love about this podcast is that we all have a story to tell.
Yeah.
And you look at someone at face value and you don't know the story until you read or you listen or you find out. And a few years ago, this young man traveled to Greece. And I'm so excited to ask how, when, who, and I have so many questions. Mr. Williams, welcome to the Twin Pod, finally.
Finally, welcome. Thank you guys for having me. I think we wanted to do this a long time, but okay, I'm here now. And like I told Cameron,
Yeah.
everything happens in God's time. So, ons kan maar planne maak, maar
Yeah.
as dit vir die Here se tyd is, as dit nie vir sy tyd nie. But it was meant for this moment. So, thank you for having me.
Before you know, we get into the nitty-gritty
Mhm.
about yourself, your life, how you grew up, and also Greece. That's important, and Greece is by a coat. That's all I know about Greece. Before we get into that, just give us a bit of background about you, the schools you attended, and how you grew up in Manenberg.
Okay, so for me,
Yeah.
I went school at Rio Grande Primary.
Okay.
That is in the road of the most notorious roads in Menenberg, Renoster. So, yeah, Rio Grande, I grew up. It was fun growing up as a kid because we weren't so exposed to a lot of things like we are exposed to at this day and age. So, growing up was fun, playing football at outside, but also it had a fun part of it, and it also had the dark side of it. So, I'd say for me, growing up in Menenberg, it was quite fun. But before we get to the nitty-gritty, it was just fun and here indeed has its challenges, and but this is just me looking back at my childhood. I would say it was fun, but that time maybe it wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was good. I love Menenberg. I'm not spit. I'm growing up in Menenberg, so yeah.
And you attended
Oh yeah,
high
and
school?
then Phoenix High.
Okay.
Phoenix
How was
High.
that?
Phoenix High was. Weet jy, mense het altyd gesê as jy klas op skool wil, jy altyd weer terug gaan. Yo, I wish I could go back to school. Want dit was regtig fun. Ek dink ek was 'n slim persoon nie. I wasn't a clever person at all. Ek was net hardwerkend geweest. En vir die situation wat ek in het gewees het toe ek Phoenix toe gaan, was my mind net geweest om skool klaar te maak. So I just worked hard. I had good friends around me. Like my vrou wat nou vandag my vrou is, wat ook my vriend het gewees het.
Shout out, give a name, man.
Kayla Williams, I love you. So ja, soos my vrou Kayla, sy was saam met my op skool, saam julle op skool gewees. En sy was ook maar altyd daar gewees wat my gemotiveer het om maak jou take klaar. So maar afgekyk by haar. So maar afgekyk by haar. Yeah, but yeah, Phoenix was a great school. For me, Phoenix was.
I want to ask you about your parents, mom and dad.
Yeah. So, let's go to the nitty-gritty. So, because parents, when it comes to parents, ek het 'n klomp parents. Ek het 'n klomp ma's, ek het 'n klomp broers, ek het 'n klomp sisters. So, because I actually grew up baie min mense weet dat ek het eintlik van huis tot huis gebly.
Okay.
Ek en my biologiese ma, so me and my blood mother, always used to find place to sleep every now and then. So it could either be by the neighbor or vanaand kan ons weer nie haar slaap, jy gaan slaap op skool by 'n ander plek. So that's now my furthest memory that I know of my biological mother at that time. En toe kom dit dat my ma as eintlik sy het moeg geraak van ons wat so pad van pad toe en te vir 'n huis en beweeg met my wat 'n kind ook was. Sy het toe los my toe by my ouma se huis wat ook aan Rio Grande is in die Renoster. Vir baie scary environment gewees. Ek het daar toe gaan bly by my ouma, maar ek weet nie waar toe met my ma gegaan nie. Maar daar het ek toe my suster ontmoet en my broer ontmoet. Nou meneer weet, hier by die huis was al klaar 'n fondasie geset. Van my broer en my suster het nou hier gebly. Al younger sister, older brother. So they already love their life en ek is hier op die skarrels aan my ma whatever. En ek kom bly toe in hulle space. So it wasn't always easy growing up in that house. So then moving on from there, ek het by my ouma toe gebly totdat sy afsterwe. So she was the only breadwinner in the house.
Was your mom living with your granny?
No.
Okay.
So like I said, I don't know where my mother went after that.
So today?
No, I know her today. Today, I will get to today. So yeah, bly toe by my ouma. Dan het dit so lekker gegaan, you know. Elke tweede huis of elke huis amper lewe mense in poverty. So het is hier nog iets special om nou nie te hê nie, but ek het toe in die environment gebly waar hulle vir my ge-ill-treat het because ek kom nou in hulle space in en het is nou nog expense op my ouma, so julle is gewoonte julle Billabong of julle Quicksilver, nou kry ek miskien nou 'n sweet op iets hangs in of iemand se paaskoene, so ek het daar gelewe, ek het gebly tot my ouma afsterf. Wat gebeur is, die een aand toe gaan soek ek vir brood, man, ek was honger, geklop by mense die so was 'n stukkie brood.
How old were you?
Hoe oud is hy as hy net high school toe gaan?
13, 12.
So about let's say about it's 13, 12.
Sy dit wysheid.
Ek het baie wysheid.
Ja.
Baie wysheid. Ek het te veel.
13 is
That
you had the
I'd say, like I said, looking back, I didn't know I had like a Lord with me, like a God with me that's like every day with me. So I had wisdom. I wouldn't say I had wisdom at that moment. I was just like making decisions on survival. You know what I'm saying? Okay, ek het kos gehad toe gaan soek by die mense en whatever. En ek kom toe by die een huis en daar sit 'n para in die jaten. En terwyl ek verby die huis loop, skree hy vir my, boetjie, wil jy saam met kom speel nie? En hy's my beste vriend. Hy is my broer, as ek dit so kan stel. En ek het toe gaan speel met hom en sy familie is 'n familie wat nou vir my geadopt het. Uit die hele
so you left there.
So I grew up from 13, let's say 13, 12, until not today, but I'm now married 4 years on my own. So for the rest of my youth, until I loved by these people, they treat me as their own child, loved, adored, gave me a roof. Until this day, I love these people.
Wow, it's amazing. I want to ask you, so you loved by the people that adopted you, and your mommy, did your mommy like think, okay, my son is safe there, or you back?
Okay, so what happened was, so when my grandmother passed away, that used to live up to look after us, sy het moes nou afgesterwe van kanker. En toe my ma moes obviously nou nader kom. But op hierdie dag, of laat ek sê op die dag van my ouma se funeral, het ek net my klere gevat en geloop. Van ek weet nie waar kry ek die gedagte van wat as ek in die huis gaan bly, gaan ek nie 'n education kry nie. Number 1, ek het geweet ek gaan nie 'n education kry nie. Number 2, ek sal nie vir hulle kan provide. Maar in die tyd het ek mos nou die klonk ontmoet en ek het nou elke dag by hulle huis gegaan en hulle het my gefeed. Ek was elke dag by haar totdat my ouma se funeral kom en ek vat toe my klere net en ek loop en ek kom by die mense se huis en ek sê kan ek nie by julle kom bly nie. En hulle het my net so geaanvaar. Net so aangevaar. So nou los dit vir my ma in daai huis en my broer en my suster. En hulle lewe het net so 'n daal gevat. Waar ek nou nagekyk is. Ek het nou 'n dak. Ek het nou 'n familie, ek het nou my eie kamer, my eie TV. Nie dat hulle ryk mense was, hulle was hardwerkende mense, hulle het goeie values. Hulle het hulle kinders ook mooi groot gemaak. Elke kind het 'n huis, hulle het goeie werke en dis van die voorbeeld van hoe die ouers vir hulle opgebring het. So ek het nou in daai environment opgegroei.
So Williams, did you not feel at that time now, when you reflect now, didn't you feel like you were maybe a burden to them?
Yo. I maybe when I grew up a little bit older. So you know when you grow a bit older, en die mense wat ek by gebly het was ook 'n bietjie, ja, hulle was elders. Like hulle was 'n ouer geslag. Dit is my beste vriend se ouma en se oupa.
Okay.
So as hulle wat nou na my gekyk het en hulle het op tyd agter in die jaar gebly in 'n Wendy house. So daai is waar ek nou by my vriende is elke dag en die mense toe die ouma en die oupa het verlief geval. So sy het altyd vir my gesê, daar oral hulle het vir my oral saam hulle gevat. Dat hulle het vir my oral as hulle gegaan het, la familie toe vat hulle my saam. Kyk toe saam. Wherever it is, as ek het altyd goeie klere gehad het, hulle sommer vir my kleretjies gekoop of gevat by my beste vriend so 'n hempie of whatever saam te sien. En sy het altyd vir hulle gesê, like, dis my optelkind. En ek het altyd so lief gevoel vir haar woorde, net dat die vrou sê, die is my kind. En ja, maar soos sy ouer nou word, en sy begin te nou werk en daar kom die gedagtes like, okay, sy begin te ook nou, sy weet elke kind raak ook stubborn met hulle ouers, so ek het nou so by hulle gewoon dat ek hulle kind is.
Ja.
Ek is nou net hulle kind, ek is nie meer hy persoon wat hulle opgetel het, ek is hulle kind en dan voel ek soms, maar is ek nie 'n burden vir julle nie. Like, en hulle vir my altyd laat voel like it is nie 'n burden vir ons. They always made me feel loved.
Yeah.
And even to today.
Are you still in contact with them?
Yes, today, hulle is my broers en my sisters. It's like you have your brothers and your sisters. Ek kan nie vir hulle sê as enigiets anders as my broers en my neefies en my.
Well, when it shows people.
They were very God-fearing people.
So that's the reason why you also went.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'd say not to say that where I grew up on my granny they weren't church. Ook my ouma was nie 'n kerkpersoon wat ek van geweet het nie. Maar ons het altyd sonnaarskool toe gegaan. Maar as ek terugkyk op my lewe, sal ek altyd sê as ek terugkyk, but God was always with me. Even before I met these people, and I look back to certain things that happened to me in my life, like miracle things that happened to me, that I can look back and say, yo, this was just God that saved me on this particular day. And those was things that happened before I even got into really going to church with him, and yeah.
Mr. Williams, when I ask your question, no?
Okay.
It's quite deep.
Sure.
Okay. Is there any resentment towards mommy? For that?
I'd say when I was immature and when I was smaller, weet ek miskien so baie kere gevoel, maar soos hy ouer raak en so nader aan God beweeg, gee God vir jou wisdom. So I am as a child of God, as ek suppose om liefde is vir die niks persoon. So ek kon nie vir haar, my mentality was, toe ek ouer raak en ek kan begin te werk, was om na hulle te kyk. En toe vandag toe kyk ek na hulle.
That's interesting, no? Because it's difficult to explain that to people. Because of your upbringing and your lack of parental guidance, when you become a father or a parent, it's very different to how you approach life. It's like you're always on guard and you're very protective, right? So I think you can agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, I came to a point in my life where ek dank die Here vir elke bad situation wat ek deurgegaan het. Because it made me this person I am today.
Wow.
I'm not a saint. Ek is ook 'n sondaar so iemand anders. But just knowing that if it wasn't for that lifestyle before I met this family, sal ek nooit by hulle uitgekom het nie. Want ek het uit die huis uit gestap van honger en gaan soek vir kos, dat ek by 'n huis gekom het wat vir my ingevat het, en vandag as ek die persoon wie ek is vandag.
As ek gebeur het, sê jy maar, jy het
as ek, you know what I'm saying, and that is something I always think about.
Wow.
Like, what if, because I was literally told, sy gaan 'n gangster raak. Sy gaan dit nie maak in die lewe nie. En sy gaan nie 'n familie hê. This was words that was told to me by family members. Ek sal nie nou sê, nie die familie wat my geadopt het, but ek gaan ook nie name noem because it's there's these people that spoke these words over me, but it was just went a different way.
Bro, I want to speak about Greece.
Yo.
Look here.
Is it Mykonos now?
So I went on different islands in Greece.
Okay.
So now, wait. My question is now, is like you in this tornado of life. Die lewe staat vir die mekaar, right? And then how does Greece link to that?
Crazy. So it's a blessing in disguise. So waar ek opgegroei by my ouma hulle, het was 'n normal Calydys. Waar my ouma hulle altyd miskien op 'n Sondagmiddag hulle biere gekoop het en het hulle music gespeel, so die poutse, en altyd was dit nog tag music, Emo Adams en die Malay choirs en sulke tipe van goedes, en het ek altyd maar music geluister, so ek en my suster en so gemimik en na die music en ek het altyd ek al 'n vision gehad dat ek sal like some music te doen internationally, not knowing in 2019 it will actually come into play. But yeah, when music started for me was in the living room, terwyl my ouma hulle ding gedoen het, hulle Judy Boutse geluister het, ons maar so geluister en saam gesing. And there you determine now, maar jy kan 'n note hou. En waar ek regtig genotice was in die kerk. So when I moved to this people, to this family, I obviously went to church with them. Obviously, I had to abide by their rules. And church was just, I always was in worship practice. Altyd mag gesing in die kerk, en dit is waar ek die liefde van music begin het. En hulle het my gesê, but jy kan 'n note hou, jy het actually 'n goeie stem. En dit is waar die connection kom. My suster het 'n baie mooi stem. My sy is nou eintlik verslaag, like addicted. Verslaag aan dwelmsmisbruik en prostitution. Dis nou my suster wat saam met my opgegroei het. En sy het 'n baie mooi stem. Veel beter as my. En sy het 'n guy gedate wat die job gedoen het overseas. En as haar tye is wat ek vir haar so gesoek het, en dan gee hulle vir my die guy se nommer. Wat sy naam is Marvin. Shout out Marvin. Hy was die een wat vir my gesê het, hoekom die sing jy nie verdien nie? Van, ek weet, jou suster sing, sy kan ook sing en whatever. Toe dink ek, die is eintlik 'n kwaai poetie, maar in die begin toe dink ek, die mense is besig van human trafficking.
You serious?
Ja, ek het aan die begin so gedink because die video's en die goedes wat hy vir my wys is too good to be true, man. And you know you must be very, very, very careful.
Yeah.
Dis my eerste keer wat ek nou op 'n plane klim, waar my eerste flight so maar 10 ure is. En dis nerve-wracking. Ja, ek geluid wat sy hoor en sê, "Jy nou gaan ek nou." So hoor ek ding ding, dan sê ek, so hy is die een wat vir my gesê het audition en ek het ge-audition en ek het toe nie die rol gekry nie, maar ek het die job gekry om Greece toe te gaan vir daai season. So it's a seasonal job.
Fully paid everything.
Fully paid. So I was just responsible for my visa. So visa and obviously sakgeld no whatever. But like accommodation was sorted and food was sorted. Basically, we work at 5-star hotels. So jy vat jou familie op holiday. Part van die package van die hotel is free entertainment at night en miskien nou open bar. Then I'm at the bar with my crew and ons perform vir julle soul and Motown music en laat julle dans en julle sing en laat julle uur en 'n half geniet.
That's nice, that's cool, bro.
And that was just like an hour and a half a day. During the day gaan ek sommer Turkey toe. So vir nie met die trein nie, met 'n boot.
Okay.
So it is normally daar is hulle het 'n 3-island tour. Dis wanneer jy nou gaan so Waterfront toe. Nou is daar 'n boot wat vir jou Seal Island toe vat.
Okay.
Like that.
But you go to a different country.
I get van it's like nie daar. Wat ek nie kan verstaan nie en wat ons baie min mense weet wat nie bewus is van traveling nie. Byvoorbeeld wat ek nou ge-experience het in Greece. If I just had a visa for that particular area. I couldn't go to United, to Manchester, just for the day quickly. Van ek het 'n international visa gehad. So if I knew that if I could get the international visa van I was daar wanneer ek sommer 3 dae af was. Manchester is 'n 45-minute flight weg. Engeland is 'n 45-minute flight weg. So jy kan weer 'n ticket koop, jy kan vir die dag Engeland toe gaan, kan jy weer vanaand jou flight terugkry. So daai so close different daai countries is aan mekaar, maar vir ons it's thousands and thousands of miles away. So for me it was very easy to hop on a ferry, is what they call it. Gaan jy nou na die different island.
How long were you there?
6 months. So yeah, that was a crazy time.
Kan jy dit nou jou gemis het?
Sure, kan jy dit my baie gemis. Look, it was niet voor haar. Maar okay, ons was nie getroud daai tyd nie, want ons was in 'n lang verhouding al 3 jaar. So it was niet vir ons albei gewees like, yo, ek gaan nou overseas en sy is nou hier en ja, it was baie difficult geweest.
Did you experience a cultural shock? Like how you grow up in your tornado and then all of a sudden you're in a first world country?
Sure. Ek kan julle sê.
And also, now, what manner habits did you have when in Greece? Was jy 'n sakkie gesit?
Oh, what are you asking what happened?
What habits?
What habits?
Yeah.
Your habits would always be, you know, sy weet as jy in high countries, no? Kyk by ons wag net as 'n kar kom, as 'n kar verby is en dan loop ons oor. Alright? Hier daar ry as 'n treine in die pad, like
trams.
Like treine. Soos treinstasie so in die pad en taxis op die ander kant, maar is alles different directions. So normally as jy op pad stap, sal jy eers regs kyk.
Ja.
Daar moet jy eintlik eers links kyk because die karre kom alles in die opposite direction.
Ja.
So daai was een van die goedes wat ek geprobeer het uitkyk en jy weet as in 'n different country as wel jy mos nou net jou onbeskofte woorde leer. So die eerste woorde wat jy wil leer in Griek as jy onbeskofte woord. Of wat die eerste ding wat jy vir iemand in Griek wil leer as 'n onbeskofte woord. So daai. Maar laat ek julle gou net iets vertel. Eendag ons sit by ons apartments. Hier kom 'n Pakistani verby. 'n Pakistani. Nou ons maak 'n grap man. My vriend sê vir hom, "Hey, Mr. Belwel, nog 28. Hy sê, praat eens aan my.
Yo.
In Greece, Pakistan, ons het maar net out of nowhere, kom die Pakistan verbygestap, en ons decide, ons skrik toe die man sê, hey, praat jy met my?
Still.
Like, yo, hey, maar kom hier. So, and like, yo, man. So this guy was living in Belleville, weet jy hoekom hy in die Greece?
I think I input.
Yeah.
Do you ever think one day maybe you might go back with your family to go visit?
I always say that once I traveled, my goal is eintlik om Old Trafford toe te gaan.
Okay, nie nou nie, maar miskien daai
Miskien wanneer hulle nou hulle 100,000 seater stadium bou.
Okay.
But no, like, ja, hy het sal ek gelyk sit om te gaan, maar nou is 'n bietjie gaan so met 'n heavy heart.
Yeah.
But my goal is to travel again, but with my family. But
Okay.
if the
Nou go.
the Old Trafford is al moet ek alleen gaan, dan gaan ek alleen. Alles is net met 'n groep vir 'n I will go. But traveling to Greece, I know I won't pay for accommodation. I know I won't pay for drinks or whatever the case may be because I made a family there.
Yeah.
The people, no. So I went to Oslo, no. So now I had this perception of the people there. No? Do they speak to you? Do they greet? Are they friendly? How's the interaction with the people?
Okay. Some people are there. You get a lot of racist people. But
Did you experience racism?
I did experience
What
racism.
happened?
So we were performing at this one hotel, no? But this hotel is 80% of the visitors are German. Nou, ek weet nie wat is die Germans against black people nie, of people of color of whatever. But at this hotel, we colored people, there's a lot of coloreds in Greece that does the same job that I do.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Okay.
There's a lot different companies also that does the same way. They also employ colored people and African people and from Congolese and so whatever the case may be. But yeah, then we came to the buffet en ons het net ons kos gehaal en toe gaan sit en die mense wat langs aan ons gesit het opgestaan en geloop. En ons was like, kom met die mense nou hy gedoen en hulle het ons 'n kyk gegee like almost like we discussing them and like, and it's like, yeah, this is racism on another level. But I don't take it so deep. They just stood up.
Yeah, I wanna
Sure.
before we go, I have a question for you. Bro, we are both in Menenberg. We see lots of things happening here. What do you think the challenges and how do you think we will overcome the challenges with regards to our kids? Because now, bro, the time we grew up and now
It's different. That's why it's very hard. And I had this conversation earlier where I said that platforms like this reach our kids because hulle is net op die internet. Hulle kyk podcasts, hulle kyk TikToks, hulle kyk live streaming, hulle kyk al die tipe van dinge van dagse generation. That time there wasn't a platform like this. That's why I always say that Menenberg moet iets soos die het, 'n platform het waar kyk it's very difficult with especially this generation, but ek sal sê I can just say what worked for me. You know what I'm saying? So we are not in this generation shoes. Ons is in hulle skoene nie. Ons ervaar dieselfde emotions en ons kry nie dieselfde information wat hulle alles kry op 'n daily compared to what yes. Like just a quick example, like depression. For example, tyd het ek baie min gehoor van depression. Nou is elke tweede kind depressed. Elke tweede kind hoor sy is depressed. And it's all because of the information that we are being fed with or that's being pushed out there. Not that I say it doesn't exist, not that is this, but for me how to face it is this for me. Eer jou moeder en jou vader. It is a very simple thing. my pa, ons het baie min van my pa gesels, né?
Hoe het jy pa gesels?
Ons het iets van my pa gesels. So my pa, my laaste ek sien hom af en toe. Hy bly ook in die Menenberg. So nothing against my pa, ek is lief vir hom. Hy is enige tyd welkom by my huis, whatever die case may be. But my laaste woorde van my pa was nog Rio Grande. Gesê respect en dissipline goes a long way. Ek dink dis al wat ek maar apply het in my lewe om 'n respectful mens te wees. You will just get respect back. So ek kan vir julle sê, né, in die Menenberg, né, ek het so baie groot mense, it's respect vir my as 'n jong man of as 'n young adult. It amazes me. Because ek is 'n persoon wat altyd wil liefde wys vir die next persoon. Ek sê altyd, don't be the person that everyone don't like. Don't be the person that everyone dislike. Vir alle ouere persoon. Mense na anti-hou nie van jou.
Nou, iets is verkeerd met jou. Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But be the one that would like people will pray for you. People will always have their doors open for you.
And the final question, the final question. Are you still performing?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really perform.
You don't perform, but you still have the love for music.
I still have the love for music.
Okay, I can check it. So you can only choose one, no? Only one.
Sjoe, dis een van hy vrae.
You can only choose one.
Okay.
And it's either no music, no soccer, nothing. Music and soccer must go, or your wife. Which one?
Obviously, kan mos nou net my vrou kies.
Doe het pad! Cheers!
Ja,